Betrayal doesn't just break your heart, it quietly rewrites the part of your brain that decides who feels safe for years afterward. The person who hurt you is gone, but your brain kept the wound open. Like a case file, it refuses to close. In the next few minutes, you'll see exactly what betrayal does inside your skull and how to teach your brain that trusting is safe again. First, let's see if this is you. Someone you trusted completely turned out to be someone else entirely, and the ground under you hasn't felt solid since. A partner, a best friend, a parent, a business partner. The title doesn't matter, the closeness does. And since that day, you replay it. Not the whole story, just the moment you found out, over and over, frame by frame. You remember strange details, the room, the time of day, the exact words. Like a photograph your mind took without asking. That's not obsession. That's biology. Now, new people make you tired, not because they did anything wrong, because checking them for danger is a full-time job, so you leave early. Or you don't go at all. When someone is kind to you, a small voice asks, "What do they actually want?" Kindness used to feel warm. Now it feels like bait. You catch yourself testing people, watching for the crack, waiting for the day they show you who they really are. And the worst part isn't that you can't trust them, it's that you stop trusting your own judgment. I saw them every day. How did I miss it? That question can haunt you longer than the betrayal itself. If any of this feels familiar, you're not broken and you're not paranoid. You're running a brain that did exactly what brains are built to do after betrayal. Let's open it up, layer by layer. 5 layers. Each one explains a piece of what you're feeling. Layer 1. When you found out, it didn't feel like sadness. It felt like being hit. That's not a metaphor. Brain scans show social pain lights up some of the same regions as physical pain. Your interior cingulate cortex, the brain's alarm for physical hurt, treats deep betrayal like an injury to your body. That's why people say it felt like a punch to the stomach, and why your chest physically ached. Your body wasn't being dramatic. It was reporting real damage. Some studies found that a common painkiller slightly dulled hurt feelings. The overlap is that real, but betrayal adds something a broken bone never has. The injury came from inside your safety zone. Your brain sorts the world into 2 folders, safe and not safe. Close people live deep inside the safe folder. It's an efficient system. Until it isn't. Betrayal is when a file from the safe folder attacks you, and that breaks the filing system itself. Because if that person wasn't safe, the system that approved them can't be trusted either. So your brain doesn't just grieve one person, it quietly re-audits everyone, every name, every face, one by one. That's the exhaustion you feel around people now. It's not weakness. It's your brain running a full security review. Quietly, constantly, in the background. And here's the cruel math. The closer the person was, the bigger the explosion. A stranger lying to you is annoying. A partner lying to you rearranges your whole map of reality, because betrayal doesn't just delete the future you planned. It rewrites the past you already lived. Every memory becomes a suspect. Was any of it real? That question is your memory system asking which files it's still allowed to believe. So, layer 1 is simple and brutal. Your brain registered a real injury. Now, why won't it fade like one? Layer 2 has the answer. Layer 2, a sprained ankle heals in weeks. So why does a betrayal from years ago still sting like yesterday? The answer is a brain feature, not a glitch. It's called a flashbulb memory. When something shocks you emotionally, your amygdala hits a big red button. Record everything now. That's why you remember the couch, the weather, the song playing. Useless details, burned in forever. You'd trade them all for peace. Your brain refuses the trade. Evolution had a reason. Your ancestors who forgot who betrayed them didn't last long. Betrayal memory is a survival tattoo. Your brain doesn't want you to forget it. To your brain, forgetting feels like danger. But there's a second force making it stick. Something neuroscientists call prediction error. Your brain is a prediction machine. It learns hardest from the moments it got things most wrong. And what's the biggest prediction your brain ever made? This person will never hurt me. You bet your safety on it every single day. When that prediction shattered, your brain marked the event as the most important lesson of your life. Important lessons get replayed. That's not torture. That's your brain doing homework. Every replay asks the same question. What was the warning sign? Find it, so we never miss it again. The problem? Sometimes there was no clear sign, so the search never ends. Hindsight invents clues that were never really there. Your mind keeps the case open, looping, because closing it without an answer feels like leaving yourself unguarded. Notice what this means. The replaying isn't because you're weak. It's because your brain rates you as worth protecting. But a guard that never sleeps. Start seeing enemies everywhere. That's layer 3. And that changes everything about how you see people now. Before we go there, pause. If you've been replaying your betrayal while listening, notice that. That's the loop, live. You just caught your brain in the act. Remember that skill. We'll need it at the end. Now, layer 3. This is where it gets strange, because your brain may have betrayed you twice. Here's the truth almost nobody tells you. Part of you may have sensed it earlier, and your brain hid it from you. Psychologists call it betrayal blindness. The mind's ability to not see what it cannot afford to see. Why would your own mind do that? Because sometimes the relationship is the roof over your life, and you don't tear off a roof in a storm. Your home, your kids, your money, your whole social world. Seeing the truth too early could collapse everything. So the brain makes a ruthless trade. Keep the attachment. Bury the evidence. That's why the discovery felt like an earthquake. It wasn't one secret breaking. It was months of buried signals surfacing at once. All of it. All at once. And that's also why you keep asking, how did I miss it? You didn't miss it. Part of you filed it away to survive the day. Let that sink in. The question that haunts you at 3 a.m. has an answer, and the answer is kinder than you thought. You weren't stupid. You were attached, and attachment is the strongest force the human brain runs on. Babies who couldn't stay attached to caregivers didn't survive. Your brain treats attachment like oxygen, not a luxury. Oxygen. So, when the truth threatened your attachment, your brain protected the oxygen supply, even from you. This is the surprising flip. The blindness you're ashamed of was your mind's clumsy way of keeping you standing. Forgive that part of you. It made the best trade it could with the information it was allowed to see. But here's what happens after the blindness breaks. Your brain swings to the opposite extreme. The system that missed the threat once now refuses to miss anything ever again. False alarms feel cheaper than another miss, so it floods you with them. A delayed text becomes evidence. A changed tone becomes a clue. A closed door becomes a confession. Psychologists call this hypervigilance. Your threat detector sensitivity dial is stuck on maximum. It's a smoke alarm that goes off when you make toast. Annoying? Yes. But remember, it's trying to prevent another fire. But living next to a screaming alarm has a price, and that price is layer 4. Layer 4. The people paying for the betrayal are usually the ones who had nothing to do with it. The new partner who gets interrogated, the loyal friend who gets tested, the kind stranger kept at arm's length. Your brain calls it protection, but watch what it's actually building. A museum where you live alone, quiet, spotless, empty. Here's the bitter irony. The wall you built to stop the next betrayal guarantees the loneliness you feared most. And there's a quieter cost. Carrying suspicion all day is heavy. Your body feels it. Chronic distrust keeps stress hormones elevated. Worse sleep, shorter fuse, a body always braced for impact. The alarm doesn't just cost you relationships, it costs you rest. And the deepest cost of all, you start to distrust yourself. My judgment failed me once, so my warm feelings can't be trusted. My comfort is probably a trap, so you push away the very things that could heal you. That's the real prison. Not that the world proved untrustworthy, but that you revoked your own license to feel safe. Hear this clearly. Your radar didn't fail because it's broken. It failed because someone studied it. and flew under it. Deception is the deceiver's skill, not the trusting person's flaw. Con artists fool psychologists, judges, and detectives. Your ability to trust was never the weakness. It was the thing that made every good relationship in your life possible. Cutting down the whole tree because of one rotten fruit, that's not protection. That's letting the betrayer redesign your life. So how do you turn the alarm down just without turning it off? That's the turn. Here's what trauma therapists know. Trust doesn't come back by deciding to trust. It comes back by collecting evidence. Your alarm system doesn't listen to speeches. It listens to small, repeated experiences of safety. So you rebuild with a trust ladder. Small rungs, low stakes, real data. You don't leap, you climb. Rung 1, share something small and unimportant with someone, and watch what they do with it. Did they keep it? Mock it? Share it? You're not trusting blindly anymore. You're running small experiments. Each kept confidence is a data point. Each data point teaches your amygdala. See? Not everyone. Not always. Move up one rung at a time. A real opinion. A small need. An actual feeling. Watch. Collect. Climb. Trust returns at the speed of evidence, not the speed of hope. And if someone fails a small test, good. The ladder worked. You learned at rung 2, not at rung 10. Now, about the loop, the 3 a.m. replays. Try this tonight. Write the memory down, by hand, start to finish. Once, not typed, written. There's a reason. Writing forces the memory through your language system and gives the open case file a beginning, a middle, and an end. Then write one more line at the bottom. The lesson is saved. The guard can rest. Will the alarm still ring sometimes? Yes, when it does. Name it. That's my smoke alarm, thank you. I'll check if there's real fire. Naming the alarm moves you from the burning building to the control room. And one day, not soon, but one day, you'll tell the story and notice your chest stayed quiet. The story will end because you finally wrote the ending. That's not forgetting. That's your brain finally refiling the memory from active threat to history. That's not forgetting. That's your brain finally refiling the memory from active threat to history. The scar will stay, but scars don't hurt. They remember. There's a difference. So, what happened in your brain when you were betrayed? A real injury, a survival recording, a protective blindness, an alarm stuck on max. That's the whole machine. None of it was weakness. Every piece was a brain that loved someone, doing its job. But a guard that protects you from everyone eventually protects you from love itself. So here's the question to sit with tonight. Is your trust being protected right now or being locked away? And if you want to understand the hidden machinery of your own mind, subscribe. We open one drawer at a time. See you in the next one.